Howdy, howdy, Chris here. Welcome back to Garage Noise. Today we'll be repairing some minor damage on this Honda HR-V. Right down here we have some bumper rash. A lot of that's going to clean off. There might be some damage on this bumper that we need to repair, but we also have a dent here, and this panel is pushed in just a little bit. So we're going to remove this trim piece. We're going to pull this out, repair this quarter panel, and then paint this quarter panel and this bumper cover. So let's dig in and get started. So this is a minor repair that you guys can do at home. You just need a little bit of equipment, some knowledge, and you can tackle something like this at home. Let's start by removing these trim pieces and inspecting the damage. Got my hand a little ratchet. So we're going to break out the Sunex toolkit here. So this has all the bits that you need. I'm going to start by glue pulling this dent. I'm really trying to hone in on my skills of glue pulling for bodywork. So first we try and glue pull it, and then if we can't get where we want to with the glue, we're going to use the conventional methods. But I'm really trying to improve my skill in glue pulling. And you don't have to buy a bunch of expensive tools to do glue pulling. They make a nice little kit on Amazon that's very inexpensive. I'm going to use a mini lifter I got off Amazon on this glue tab right here. So we just put a small amount of glue on there. One tip I can give you with glue pulling is it's important to pull this tab at just the right time. You don't want to wait too long or that glue is going to be brittle. You're not going to get a good pull. But if you pull too early, it's going to be a little bit too soft. So you want it to just be a little soft, and then you're going to get a good pull on your dent. Right there, and then right here. There's a little bow right in here. You just want to pull this out a little bit, and then we can sand it down and put a little filler on it. Put our mini lifter on here. Just putting a little pressure on this. And so we're going to just tap down this crown a little bit right here. Actually, there's a little ridge right here. I'm going to tap here and here. Get out the blending hammer because this bow comes up into here. Okay, a couple more pulls. We'll see this. See that flex? Flexing that metal. Bam. We want to keep this repair as small as possible, so I just got a small block with some 80 grit sandpaper. We're just going to block this a little bit, see what we got, see if we have any high areas that we need to tap down. Spot right there. And we're just going to tap those down just a little bit more, and then we'll fill this. This is all sanded with 180. So this is really about as minor as they get. So we just got a little glazing putty here. Just mix it up until it's all one uniform color. That's a little bit I got on here. So we prepared this whole area with 180 grit sandpaper. 180 grit sandpaper provides the right scratch or tooth for this polyester glazing putty. All right, we got some 180 right here. We're just going to block this out. Don't need anything coarser than that. This is just glaze. So we want to block this in an X pattern. You don't need to put a lot of pressure on this when you're blocking it. You just want to hold your block flat and then block in a crosshatch or X pattern. Now, if this was a little bit larger repair area, we would want to use some guide coat, and that'll show us our high and low areas while we're blocking. So guide coat is just a charcoal-based powder that lays in those low areas after you block it. We are now ready for some primer on that quarter panel, but before we do that, let's go ahead and address these scratches on this rear bumper cover. So I've got my orbital sander with some 320 grit sandpaper. These scratches are very minor, so we just need to smooth those out so they don't have any hard edges. So I'm going to sand them out with the orbital sander, and then we'll go ahead and prep out the rest of this bumper with 600 grit sandpaper. Now you could prep this out after you primer, but I like to prep it out before because now I know everything's sanded. So if we get a little primer overspray on the rest of the panel, it'll sand off easily and it'll be prepped. So now we'll just clean it off and then we'll start masking everything off to get it ready for primer. So I want to wash everything down with isopropyl alcohol, make sure it's nice and clean before we start masking this off. And this is what I like to do to create a soft edge. So I'll put the paper down and then I'll fold it back. And now a little bit of that primer is going to slide underneath that paper and it's not going to create a hard edge. Ideally, I won't be anywhere near the paper with the primer, but we want to keep it as small as possible for when we paint this. You want to make sure all the edges are sanded really well. So I'm going over everything with a red scuff pad. This is going to create a coarse enough scratch that that clear coat and that paint is going to adhere properly. Now I like to use a little bit of upol grip number 4 around all those hard to reach areas that we sanded. I'll do it on the quarter panel and I'll also do it on the bumper. Just a little bit of insurance to make sure everything adheres properly. Okay, so we're going to use this R500. I use this for primer. This has a 1.7 tip. We're going to dial the fan pattern way down and the fluid volume. We'll just do it 1.5 turns out from closed. We don't need a lot of air pressure either. You don't have to create a lot of overspray with this primer. Just that's about it. Now I'm just going to let that flash off for a little bit. We're going to apply probably 1 to 2 more coats because I want enough material on this to be able to block it out. Just so you know, the primer we use is the upol 2K primer. This is a high build primer, a primer surfacer, and can be used as a sealer. I'll leave the link in the description. You don't want to miss the next episode when we paint this tri-stage white finish with a low volume, low pressure paint gun and a small 29-gallon compressor from Harbor Freight. This will be a very detailed video that's going to walk you through step by step the entire process of painting and repairing your vehicle. So definitely make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you want to help support the channel, all you got to do is like and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. We also have merch you can pick up at garagenoisegear.com. I appreciate each and every one of you watching. We'll see you on the next episode.